25 years and life is still trying to get that great big view out of home for a destination.
Get back to this.
It's time for the 2018 Cat Radio Awards with your hosts Will Dell and Cat Warren.
And welcome to Friday's Big Finish. Oh no, wait, Will, we're at the Cat Awards.
Oh, I thought it was us.
Messed up a little bit. Also, it's a Thursday. Don't even know what day of the week it is with assignments. Anyway, welcome to all of you. My name's Will.
And I'm Cat Warren.
Yeah, that works.
Close enough. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's great to all see you here today. In amongst our wonderful audience, we have got students from across the university. Of course, we are joined by staff, not only from the Department of Media, but across the university as well. I'm glad they got woos too. I was a little bit on edge there.
I would have booed them.
And, of course, we have some esteemed guests of honour as well. These are people who've very kindly taken time out of their busy day to join us here at the awards. They're people from the industry, including, but not limited to, from Radio City, we're joined by Chris Rick. From Bauer Radio, we're joined by Mr. John Pickford, and from Virgin Radio UK, it's Mr. Mike Katz. Now, the The Cat Radio Awards tonight they've been organised and put together by the small but perfectly formed Cat Radio management team. And it's all about celebrating the very best of the Cat Radio. This is a little bit about what it's all about.
Hello, good evening. You're listening to the Tea Time Kickoff with me, Richard Wolfenden, and my guests Daniel Pryor and Rowan Newman, as we have the final word on the weekend's footballing action.
Broadcasting live from the University of Chester's Warrington campus.
The remix with Craig Campbell. I should be so lucky. That's from Kylie's debut studio album.
Non-stop music. This is the Cat Radio.
You're listening to the Fresh Show on the Cat Radio with Ellie, Kieran and me, Michael. We've got a cracking show lined up for you today, playing massive hits just like these.
We've got an interview and our competition Songs of Phrase. But before all of that, we have In Your Arms by the Crystal Fighters.
The Marmosettes with Major System Error on the Cat Radio. It's 21 minutes past 4.
Hello and welcome to the Student Sport Perspective, the hour of sport on the Cat Radio, as a Liverpool trio of myself, Joe Lampkin and Josh Roberts, along with the retaining Pete Cherevic on the show today. But as a Liverpool fan, I'm terrified of what is sat right in front of me, as I am joined by two Manchester United fans in the form of Gez Roberts and Scott Thorne. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Good, thank you.
Hello and welcome. It is now 12 o'clock and this is your VP Sandra Salami. I'm your Vice President over here at the Students' Union.
So I'm Michelle, I'm with you today till 6 o'clock, bringing you home. I have this amazing track for you now. This is Ed Sheeran. How would you feel? How would you feel if you met Ed Sheeran? Oh!
Yes. We're going to be speaking about Jurassic Park.
I thought you were going to start singing the theme tune then.
No, I'm not going to.
There you go.
So yes, we're going to be speaking about Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
No, we're not. It's Star Wars. Don't throw anything at me.
I haven't got anything to throw.
No.
That was 21 Pilots with We Don't Believe What's on TV. And in a recent interview with Rock Sound magazine, Fall Out Boy's Pete Wentz made a statement saying, rock music might not come the way people expect it, but it is very much alive. I found this a really interesting statement, as we've seen how rock artists who have made it big like Fall Out Boy change their style to what people may have seen as rock, wouldn't have seen as rock back then. But what's your opinion on the matter, Sue?
No, I think that's a really interesting statement, obviously, because I think rock is such a wide genre.
The original Cat Radio, live from Warrington campus.
I was a 15-year-old in school. I thought I was really edgy, having a username that was related to my favourite band, and one of their songs was called Pretty Visitors, and yeah, so that is why my username is Pretty Visitors, just thought I was being a bit edgy. So you can follow me on Twitter with that.
Good morning and welcome to the Knowledge Show here on the Cat Radio with me, Library Liz, and producer Tom this week.
Hello.
I want to know what you got for Christmas. What was your best Christmas present? Tweet us at the Cat Radio UK or get in touch on Facebook /the Cat Radio.
So I'm just in the car with Ed from Corn, Leeds Festival. Can you give us just a quick run through of what you've been doing at the prayer tent at Leeds Festival?
Jason Derulo with Tiptoe on the Cat. It is 14 minutes past 4. It's now time for my favourite part of the show, where I go through the deep darkness of the internet to find out celebrities that all share the birthday today. And Joe, you've never sort of witnessed this feature before.
I have not, no. I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be a good laugh.
This is Cat Radio and you're listening to Michael
Edward,
yes.
And Steph.
I hope you're having a wonderful day.
Your station, your sound. This is the Cat Radio.
So as you can see there, like any great student radio station, the Cat is full of non-stop banter, and honestly just a lot of really dumb, funny moments.
Yeah, I can't help but notice that there was one glaring omission from that Best of the Cat Radio thing.
Yeah, Michelle, where were we?
Can anybody think what that might be?
We're honestly, I mean, we're on tour right now. We've come all the way from the studio to a different studio, and we weren't even included. It's a bit rude if I'm being honest. Anyway, we have some amazing speakers here tonight. Fresh from Radio Days conference, and just before she jets off to Vienna, we've managed to nab Michelle Livesey, who is the Deputy News Editor for the Bauer Radio Network and the Chief Reporter for Key 103 at the moment. So, Michelle, I'd like to invite you up now just to say a few words.
It's really nice to be asked to speak here tonight, and it's really exciting that you're at an awards ceremony. I have many different kind of hats that I wear in the radio industry. So I've done presenting, I've done reporting, and now I'm in a management role, as well as doing everything else, spinning many plates. Why radio for me? People say to me, I've been in the radio industry now for 17 years. I started out when I was 18. I started out at my local radio station, Rock FM, and they offered me a training position. So I was learning, as you guys are doing, in a studio, learning the tricks of the trade whilst going to university at the same time. And I kind of worked my way up from there. I've been at Key 103 for 13 years, and I've always worked for the same company, Bauer Media. They've always supported me in my career. They've always supported me on whatever I wanted to do, and they've always kind of nurtured my talent and what the areas that I wanted to go into. I kind of found the area that I loved in reporting. So for me, going out and reporting and using radio as a tool to share people's stories, it was kind of like what it was all about for me. Radio is such a powerful tool in being able to give people a platform to share their experiences, share their stories. The power of audio is just unbelievable. You only have to listen to that, the little kind of bit that you heard there, and it makes you laugh, and it, there's different elements to it. It takes you on an emotional roller coaster. And for me, working on my campaigns, I've done quite a few campaigns over the years. My two kind of main successful ones have been Claire's Law, which was about domestic violence and giving people the right to know if their partner has a violent past, and also a current campaign that I've actually just managed to secure a change in the law for was my Justice for Joseph campaign, which was about dangerous driving and kind of bringing in stiffer sentences for those who kill on the roads. And these were all stories on my patch. These were people that were affected in my area that had nowhere to turn, that were let down by the system, and we provided them with a platform to say, what can we do about this? How can we share your voices with the rest of the country? We took it from Greater Manchester to Parliament, and as a result we managed to change the law. So again, going back to that question, why radio for me? People always sometimes look at radio as being a stepping stone to TV, and people always say to me, oh, when are we going to see you on Sky News? And for me, it's not about that. Radio is so much more. It's being able to be the eyes and ears of your audience. It's being able to tell that story through the power of audio. A recent radio commission survey by the government proved that radio is still the most trusted and reliable source for people to get their information from. So, when you hear about how social media is taking over and how radio might be sort of dying into the background, it's totally the opposite now. You only have to look at recent events like the Manchester Arena bombing. That happened at 10:30 at night, and I was in the studio by 11 o'clock, and we were broadcasting every 15 minutes news bulletin before we went completely all speech. So to be able to do that and have a reporter at the scene and be able to get that information out to people when they need it the most, being able to sift through all the fake news that does the rounds on social media, and boy, are we seeing a lot of that at the moment. Being able to sift through that and being the trusted, reliable source that actually says that's not the case, these are the facts, this is what's happening, listen to us, we are the trusted source. You look at, say, everyday things, not just major events like that, but when you look at, say, the beast from the east that's just hit us all, You know, I just literally got in bed. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I jumped on social media, and I could see people tweeting saying they'd been stuck on the M62 for hours. So the first thing I did was I kept my onesie on. I did keep my onesie on. I put some clothes on over the top. And I went straight into work and got in touch with those people that had been stuck. And then we started putting their stories out, and we started getting the information out there for them. Because even though people were using social media to sort of communicate with people and try and find sources of information, people's batteries were then starting to die, and all they had to turn to in the cars was the radio. So for me, it is always going to be that powerful, reliable tool that is always going to be there, and it's always going to be something that people rely on even as times change. Obviously we've got to change because audio's not just about radio, it's about social media. We're all multimedia journalists now. I say that every single person in the room here is a journalist, because if something was to happen, the first thing you do is get your phone out and start filming it, taking pictures, tweets about it. So everyone's a journalist now. It's just making sure that as a radio station, and our Key 103 do, we pride ourselves on being, you know, first with the facts and being that reliable source. And I think for you guys, I mean, my kind of story goes to show that if whatever you want to do, and if you love radio, and if you love, no matter what path you want to go down, obviously I chose journalism, but whether it's presenting, whether it's editing, producing, you know, advertising, anything, radio industry is such an exciting industry to work for. It's that kind of buzz that you get in that radio station when you walk in. It's that working together as a team. You know, Key 103 recently won an ARIAS award, which was a really prestigious award for our coverage of the Manchester Arena attack. But it wasn't just the news coverage, it was how the station came together and made ourselves part of that community and provided a platform for everybody to share their stories and share that kind of solidarity that everybody felt. And I think, you know, I took it upon myself to throw myself in there when I was 16 years old and get that work experience and make sure that I'm going into radio stations and experiencing it. But, you know, you guys are so lucky that you've got these facilities here to have your own radio shows and station and just literally throw yourself into it and do the editing. That raw talent, you can't teach that. And it's people like myself, and it's people like you've got in the front row here that are coming to look at you guys and see what's coming through to the future, because you're the guys that we want, you're the guys that we're supporting. We want that raw talent. I was that raw talent once, and I've made it to where I am now. So I just want to say, well done, keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations, all of you tonight. Doesn't matter whether you've won an award or not. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Wise words there from Michelle Livesey about how radio has changed and how radio plays a role for all of us today. And that leads me nicely onto my next speaker. Now, radio production students will know our next speaker as the author of How to Make a Great Radio and Radio Moments. According to Twitter, reliable source of information, he is a consultant, trainer, historian and a broadcaster. We're honoured today to be joined by video by Mr. David Lloyd.
Hello Warrington, and thank you very much indeed for inviting me to be part of your awards ceremony. It's really interesting putting award entries together, because I guarantee if you've done your job well, you would have thought to yourself, who are the judges? What are they looking for? That's a great discipline, isn't it, for radio generally, because whatever content you're making, for whatever format you're making, you should always be thinking, who is the listener, and how can I really make content that they love? That's what it's all about. Radio generally is at a truly incredible stage. I think radio can really be broken down into about 3 eras. One was before television, when radio had the world to itself. You could do no wrong. Anybody could be a radio star. There was nothing else to do in life. Second phase was the era that I belong to, which is the analog age, the FM age, where all the radio stations open up, etc., etc. Third era is now, and the digital future, which I think is so incredibly exciting. Audio in now is in a very interesting place, and people can listen not only on their radio sets to live radio, and 75% of listening is still super live radio, But you can listen, of course, on your phone, smart speakers, etc., etc. So I think that radio will change beyond all recognition in the years to come, and it needs to have working within it people who understand the listener and regard everything else as a distraction and just say, okay, I need to make stuff that really feasts the ear, because there's one thing for sure, whatever happens in this radio world, people will still have two ears and still want something to do with them. Thank you for inviting me to talk to you today. If you'd like to get one of my books, yeah, I've got to do it. This is my most recent one, which is about life in radio, what it's really like. Look, it's got a bookmark. I'm reading my own book. How sad is that? Maybe more interesting news how to make great radio, which is all about things to do to make great radio, really. That's what it's all about. People always say to us, how do I get into radio? And I think one of the best bits of advice is be good. That's, people often want a job before they're actually good enough to have the job. So, concentrate on what makes great radio, as I know you have done in putting your award entries together today. Good luck!
We're honoured to have Mr. David Lloyd joining us, and we cannot thank him enough for sending in that video clip. But now, everybody, it is the moment...
Will, bear with. He just spoke about how radio's always changed. Now, we've got a category coming up later, guys, not to tease or anything, but it's funniest moments. And I think actually one of the funniest moments that's happened on the Cat this year is when me and you were setting up in the sports hall for the Freshers' Fair. And we ran in and we said, Andy, there's no internet in the sports hall, how are we going to stream the Cat?
How on earth do you stream a radio station without any internet?
So Andy goes in the back of the Magical Tech office, he brings out an old AM radio, and he goes, as if you two just forgot that we're also on AM. So we plugged those into the speakers and everything was fine.
Oh, off radio? No. Let's press on. It's time for our first category.
Now, time for Best Interview.
Yes, Best Interview each and every year of the Cat Awards is always done to the highest standards. We speak to so many interesting people, both within the university, with outside of the university, and this category, correct me if I'm wrong, but is always judged by the amazing John Pickford. John is the Bauer Radio Editor-in-Chief, and not only does he judge the awards and attend every single year, which we really appreciate, thank you John, but he also comes in and delivers a law lecture to the second and the first years each and every year. I sat in on it again this year just to keep myself refreshed, because honestly, every time John comes in, I learn something new, because media law is always changing, and it's an invaluable source to have. So John, I'd like you, in a second, after I've said who the nominations are. So yeah, anyway, this is why I don't do live. So yeah, the nominations for this category are Conrad Andrews, Kieran Wallace, Michael Rooney, Steph Taylor and Tom Marland. So John, now I would like to invite you to the stage to announce the winner.
Actually, I think I should say I actually put the fear of God in every student when I do the legal training session, and everybody's frightened to death. They just put on 12 songs in a row and never speak afterwards. Well, the winner of the interview, this was a really tricky one. In fact, I listened through to all of the entries about 3 times before I actually made my mind up, because it's a really difficult category to judge this one. However, I liked the way that this person tracked the interviewee down. They were not overawed by somebody that they liked, and they actually got a good line out of him that could have made a separate story about him wanting to spend more time with his family. So the winner is...
Scary thing to do when you come out of your comfort zone, no matter what any of us do, you know, and certainly in the UK there is very much a sort of stay in your lane mentality, you know, it's stick to what you know, what people know you for.
I wasn't expecting this at all. I was definitely up against some very, very talented people, especially some people in my class. Yeah, I'm just really shocked. Thank you so much. Thank you for choosing me, and yeah, here goes to radios and interviews. Thank you.
Congratulations to Steph. We'll hear a lot from our freshers today.
Yeah, freshers are quite good this year, actually.
You know, Kat, I'm surprised.
Me too.
Let's press on.
Now time for Best Fresh Show.
So Fresh is our first year's first taste of radio. It's where people like me and Kat first start out. Kat, do you remember being on Fresh? Do you remember doing Fresh?
I do remember doing Fresh. I was always really, really nervous when I was doing it, but Fresh helped me build my confidence. And then we started doing Fridays with Finish with Maria, and we also then did our own shows as well. And I honestly couldn't have done that without being on Fresh first.
Kat, I like to think that I'm still pretty fresh, to be honest.
No, you're definitely past it.
For this year, Best Fresh has been judged by somebody who we're delighted to have involved in the awards today. He is the content director for Radio City, Radio City 2, and of course Radio City Talk. It's Mr. Chris Rick. The nominations for Best Fresh are Michael, Kieran, Stu and Ellie, Corey, Leah and Leonie, Steph, Edward, Jorge and Michael. I would like to invite Chris to the stage to announce the winner.
Thank you. It's a really exciting award to announce, mainly because when you get something that really is fresh and you're listening for relationships forming for the very first time, and having put a number of breakfast shows together where you take talent from various parts of the country and you force them together in a room and you say, please have some chemistry, and sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it works really well. And in all the entries I could hear the start of relationships building on air, where you start to understand how the other person's going to perform, or what they're going to say and how they're going to say it. So it was a really interesting thing, and all the entries were really strong. But the winner showed some real creativity, an idea I've already stolen, which is always a good sign, had real music passion that was woven all the way through, and at times showed and demonstrated how a really strong anchor can make a difference to how something sounds. And the winner is...
Congratulations to Michael, Kieran, Stu and Ellie on the stage.
And up next we have Lonely Together by Avicii.
Sue, have you ever heard of the phrase, don't give up your day job?
I absolutely have. I apply it to Kieran every day.
Oh, wow. Oh. Okay, well, that
I'm joking. I'm joking.
That is this week's Songs with Phrase. I think this would be easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, thanks very much. What was the idea you stole? Okay, thank you. We won't copyright. Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks to the rest of the lads here as well, and thanks to Michelle for putting us in a team together, because we asked to be put in a team together because we already were getting on, so we thought it would do well on radio. So yeah, thanks.
It's hard to hold a clicker in a microphone, you know. Yes, anyway, moving swiftly on to the next category.
Now time for Best VP or Knowledge Show.
So the VP and Knowledge Show are done by, one is done by our VP, hence the VP show, and that has been for the last 2 years Mr. Sandro Salemi. I know he's enjoyed every single second he has spent on the radio. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sandro, but I do believe that you being part of the VP show has kind of pushed you and Josh to start your own show, sports show. And it's fantastic. You've only been going for a few weeks, but every time I tune in, you make me laugh. It's really good. Next year, it will be done by Mr. Jack Appleby. Congratulations again on being our new Vice President for Warrington. And the Knowledge Show is always hosted by the amazing Library Liz. She is always there whenever we need any problems. If ever you need to know how to reference, she's your woman. And
you do a lot.
We are all the time. The VP show is all about what's going on within the university. We try as much as we can to spread it out across all campuses, what's going on in Shrewsbury, what's going on Parkgate, what's going on in all of the other campuses around, not just our own. And I know that Ben France, who is the new president, is hoping to get involved next year. Yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of interviews with both staff and external people. Again, the Knowledge Show is all about Warrington and the surrounding boroughs, because if you ask anyone, Warrington seems to cover most of the country these days.
We've obviously, as third years, we in the past have worked on the VP and the Knowledge Show, and again, at the risk of showing off, I'd like me and Kat to remind you about something that we did on the Knowledge Show, and I think it was the pinnacle of hard-hitting journalism.
It really was. Are you talking about the toss-off?
Yeah, I'm talking about pancakes.
It was so good. Me and Will and Liz were just in chapel, tossed off some pancakes.
Yeah, so
absolutely great.
To clarify, the challenge was I, as any good radio production student was
all
up
good
late.
Journalists have to be able to flip a pancake.
So I was up late the night before making pancake batter, as you do.
The best pancakes he's ever made, and I can clarify.
And the idea is that me and Liz would see how many times we could flip a pancake live on the radio in 60 seconds. I think
It was 60 seconds, yes.
We don't need to talk about how badly I did.
Will lost dramatically. I think he managed to flip it about 5 times. And Liz was way up there in like the 70s, so congratulations again for that, Liz.
I did eat a lot of pancakes though, so who is the real winner here?
Anyway, this category was judged by the senior BBC broadcaster Wendy Middleton. But first, the nominations for this year are Tom Marland, Yasmin Denman and Max Rushton. These are all great second year students. Wendy can't join us tonight, but she did send in a video, so here it is.
Hello everyone, sorry I can't be there. I hope you all have a great time at the awards. I want to say I was very impressed by the professionalism and enthusiasm that all the submissions in this category displayed, but I do have to choose a winner. And for the thought that's gone into the format, the content, the production values and the creative use of audio, I choose the winner as The Knowledge, produced by Max Rushton.
Congratulations, Max.
Nigel Farage. Do you feel it still? I feel it. It's still 2017, even though it's not. It's 2018. So here to get
Wow.
you in the mood.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? What did he say? No, seriously, help. No, I don't know what to say. Just a massive thank you. Huge thank you for everything that happened in first year as well, because I think first year really amps you up for this kind of thing. So massive thanks to Michelle for absolutely bombarding us with emails as well, possible interviews, possible outings to go to this year and everything. Massive thank you to everybody in our year group as well. You know, always a support team, stuff like that. Chris and Tando, Yasmin, Lauren, Ash over there taking lovely photos. Thank you. Yeah. And of course Tom. Huge thank you as well has to go to Liz and Sandro for just being amazing presenters on the VP and Knowledge Show, and good luck to Appleby for next year. Wow, that's all I can say. I don't know how to end this. just a massive thanks. Cheers.
Congratulations, Max. And you've worked really hard on both shows this year.
Now time for best sports content.
So this year the management team have worked really hard, and I'm proud of everybody in our management team, all 6 of us. We've put together a really busy schedule, and we've worked really hard to encourage people to do shows who maybe wouldn't have done them before, maybe hadn't thought about it. And that means that this year we have 2 sports shows, 2 sports-specific shows on the CAT this year, and that's something that I'm really proud of.
That's a 200% increase from our first year, isn't it, Will? And from last year.
Thanks for that interesting stat.
Well, radio people aren't very sporty, are they?
Not
really.
I remember in my first year, I did varsity from live from Glyndor. Kat, how do you think that I did as a sports commentator?
Well, I don't think you could have got any worse.
Honestly, I don't really think you could have called it sports commentary.
No, Will, I think the favourite phrase is, so we went over to Will for the football game. Not a very difficult sport to understand the rules of, if I'm being brutally honest. And we said, Will, how's it going? And he goes, it's just absolutely fantastic. There's There's been some goals, there's 2 teams, it's just absolutely fantastic. I don't know, I think we managed to count up, me, Danny and Nicola managed to count up that you said absolutely fantastic consecutively about 12 times.
Some things are hard for some people, Kath. The nominations. The best sports content this year has been judged by Andrew Lindsay from BBC Sport. We're very proud to have him on board, and it's been a tough category because the nominations for best sports content are Joel Lampkin and Richard Wolfenden. So it's been a hard one to judge. The pleasure falls to me to announce the winner of best sports content this year, and it goes to somebody who has worked hard on their show every week. In terms of production value, you can tell it's had loads of thought put into it. The winner of best sports content in 2018 goes to Richard Wolfenden.
Good evening, you're listening to the Tea Time Kick-On with me, Richard Wolfenden, and my guests Daniel Pryor and Rowan Newman, as we have the final word on the weekend's footballing action.
Thanks a lot. Tight contest, but the lads who do it with me aren't here tonight, unfortunately, so big shout out to Rowan and Daniel, and shouting them at BBC Sport as well for giving us a few clips every now and then. And yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you very much.
So sports content is something that is coming across really well on the Cat this year, and I do hope that it continues in the years to come.
Now, time for Best Specialist Show.
Best Specialist Show is always a good one on the Cat. We like to have lots of variety in what we produce, in what we present, and indeed in the music that we listen to on the station. As a whole, we try and keep it just for the students, but of course there are shows that like to be a little bit different. Now, for the first time ever, we've actually had 11 entries for this category. If it's wrong, I'm dyslexic and can't count. But this is the first time that it's had this much content, and I'm really proud of the whole Cat Radio team for this. This year it was judged by the old head of programming for BBC Radio Manchester, Lawrence Mann.
Kat, forgive me for interrupting, but I hear on the grapevine that you and Lawrence Mann, you're buddies, you're tight, you go way back?
Yeah, I'd probably go as far to say that me and Lawrence are kind of bros.
Alright, there's only a show.
Just saying. But Lawrence and I, we're on the same level in many aspects of our lives. Not only do we both have a huge passion for radio and a huge passion for kind of older music, he is a lot older than I am, but we're also on the same level because he's quite a short man. He's also incredibly funny, and he's just absolutely fantastic. If I had to liken him to a lecturer, I'd definitely say he was a Wayne O'Brien of the radio world.
An honour.
An honour indeed. So moving swiftly on, the nominations this year are Conrad Andrews for his ectopic pregnancy special. Conrad, that's really hard to say. Chris Meredith for his LGBT coming out special. Lauren Duffy with her knife crime special. Michael Rooney with Bits and Pieces. Steph Taylor with Rewind to the 80s. Sylvie Devaney with Greatest Hits Show. Joel Lampkin with the Student Sports Perspective. Kieran and Sue with the Rock Hour. Me with Cat on the Cat, and Craig Taphorn with the remix. Bear with, I've got to change cards. Okay.
You did great.
Nailed it. No one noticed. So yes, Lawrence is, he was the old head of programming for BBC Radio Manchester, but he's got a new job at the BBC now and is kind of jetting across all over the world, but he promised me that he would still be a judge for this category, so I really appreciate that. He asked me to read out these following words, and he's got a very special radio legend to do the voiceover of who the winner is. So the words of Lawrence himself. I was blown away by the high standard of the entries in this category. It made my job even more difficult. Sadly, as my new role as BBC TV and radio trainer, it means I am not able to make it to Warrington tonight. But I have asked a true broadcasting great to record the results. This man you may not have heard of, but he was my mentor. He is responsible for so many successful broadcasting careers. In fact, a number of nationally known radio and TV people that he has helped and encouraged have made him the legend that he is today. To read my runner-up and winner is of the Best Specialist Show category is BBC broadcaster Gerald Jackson.
The Best Specialist Show. Runner-up. Laura thought she was a very warm presenter with a great sense of humour. Really enjoyable listen. The runner-up award goes to Cat Warren for Cat on the Cat.
That's you!
A very difficult subject to cover, but Lawrence felt it was dealt with in a really sensitive manner. The piece included an emotional interview, and the presenter used his own experience to enhance the programme. A worthy winner. For a special on ectopic pregnancies, the winner is Conrad Andrews.
And Steve, they suffered a tragic loss of a baby in the storyline on Coronation Street. When we look at stuff, massive shock. This really wasn't expecting this. A lot of really good presenters up there, and just thank you to Cat Radio for giving me, who is a non-radio student, the opportunity to do this show. Thank you.
I've had the pleasure of working with Conrad since his first year, and every week he's shown dedication and passion to radio, and I can see how much he's grown in his confidence, and really a bit of dedication and enthusiasm is all that we ask for from our team.
Whenever one of us who is a radio student needs some help on something, Conrad is always the first to comment saying, I'm up for it, I'll do anything. It's really, really helpful to us.
Now, you've seen how we've had some more serious programming on the Cat this year, which is brilliant, but we also encourage our listeners to have some fun, don't we, Cat?
Always.
Time for the next category.
Now, time for the funniest moment on the Cat Radio.
I had a dream that...
He's had a lot of dreams this week, I can tell you that.
And in one of them, the audience, all accused me that the Cat Awards were rigged. I promise that they're not, but it was very difficult not to submit me and Cat for every single entry for Funniest Moment.
We are quite hilarious, I can tell you.
This year, Funniest Moment has been judged by one of our visiting lecturers here at the University of Chester. It was just by Howell Evans from Access Manchester, and the nominations for Funniest Moment this year go to Marlon and Rushton for their On This Day blooper, Marlon and Rushton with their Star Wars review. It's a compilation of Cat Warren.
I'm too funny to pick one moment, so I just had to edit all of them together.
Okay, Cat. And it's Friday's Big Finish. And that is just me and Cat.
And I like to call the Cat Radio Awards this year Friday's Big Finish on tour.
Now, something that you might not know about Howell is that as well as being a presenter and a producer and somebody who makes podcasts for a living, he also professionally babysits rabbits. And now that's a very time-consuming job, which means that he couldn't be here in person today, but he and his colleague Jamie were kind enough to send in this clip.
They were, and can I just say that he informed me today that this picture was actually taken in a special that him and Janie did while they were looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
Good evening, Cat Awards. This is Howell and Jamie.
Hi.
Once famous in Preston.
Massive in Preston.
We have been judging the Funniest Moment Award, and we've had a great time. First of all, some detailed feedback. This should last no longer than 40 to 45 minutes. Cat, I thought Cat had a wonderful stumbling inventiveness to her stuff that sounds both welcoming and fun.
I concur with those thoughts, Howell.
Great, really nice.
I also thought that Breaking the Lift story, excellent. Chicago Fire, enjoyed that story and where it was taken us. Would like to have heard more of it.
Exactly, Kat. Wanted to actually hear how you broke a lift in Chicago. That would have, follow your instincts there, that would have been good. Friday's Big Finish, has great synergy between the hosts, Will and Kat there. Their personalities really complement each other as well, and they've done a lot of hours on air together.
You felt that these people sat in a room with each other for a very long time, and with that, came both resentment and a natural rapport.
which we know a lot about, which is why we're doing this down Skype and not with each other in person. Cat not listening to Will is, for me, a great example of that. Just being able to switch off from the noise that's coming out of the other person's face. If you tried to script that or recreate it, you couldn't. It would just be flat. Moving on to Marland and Rushton. Jamie, what do you think they should call themselves? Marland and Rushton?
Isn't there another presenter called Max Rushton? He's a sports presenter.
Right.
That might be an issue. Change your name, Max. Yeah, maybe Marlowe and Rushdie. That's my thing.
Sounds like Rushdie. Great fun, great personalities, as with Will and Cat, compliments.
I love that they couldn't stop and they didn't know if this phone was going to ring again. They had no control over what was going on in that studio, and they sound slightly terrified that this phone could just ring again. And I love that they say, "Well, we'll call you back."
They should have answered the phone, because that's where the magic lies. All great entries, and Jamie and I both marked all of them out of 10, and it, believe it or not, led to a flipping draw. We have not made this up, it's led to a draw, and then we battled it out, and we can't give in on each other's points. So it is a draw between Friday's Big Finish, with Cat not listening to Will, and Marland and Rushton and their Star Wars review / rant. Congratulations.
Now, I think this is the first time in Cat Radio history that we have had a tie. The judges haven't actually been able to pick a winner. We gave Hal and Jimmy one job, and they couldn't really do that right. Max and Tom, thanks for joining us on stage. Now, the industry professionals in the room will know that there is only one way to solve a dispute like this, and that is with rock, paper, scissors. So, Max and Tom, I'd like you to nominate one of you to go head-to-head against Cat for the Funniest Moment Award. Okay, Max, thanks for stepping up to the plate. It's going to be best out of one. We'll go after scissors. So, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Congratulations to me and Kat. But we're in the name of you know, we thought we'd give you one anyway for us. No?
That's very fair.
I think that's kind enough.
You can have the coaster. I'll take the thing.
Can I also just say, Marland and Rushton, and I just want to emphasise Marland and Rushton, Michelle Ponting. We are ending this right here.
Jackson Marland sounds so much better.
No.
Not happening, thank you.
So thank you, I'm glad that we could finally put that to bed. So, Kat, go on then. You have to tell us. How did you break a lift in Chicago?
It's a very long story, but I'll summarise if you want to know the whole thing. So I'll tell you in the bar afterwards. Basically, it was just after I'd gone to summer camp for the first time. I was working there, radio, boring, whatever. And we come back from a Chicago Cubs game, middle of the night, and every time me and my friends got into this lift in the apartment we were staying in, it jiggled. Now, we were really late coming back. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were all ridiculously tired. So when we all walked in, there was about 5 of us out of 7 that said, "Oh, this would be fun if we start bouncing a little bit." So we just started there, bouncing up and down a little bit in the lift. And then as it was going up, we all kind of looked at each other, said 3, 2, 1, and jumped. We were stuck for 4.5 hours.
It's your own fault, really, Kat.
I'm so glad no one caught us. Anyway, moving swiftly on from that. I think I messed up.
No.
Are you good?
Time for Best Newcomer.
Yes, so Best Newcomer, we've had so many new people on the CAT this year, both the first year radio production students, the broadcast presenting and whatever else they're called, production, as well as non-radio students. We've even had people from Parkgate getting involved and saying that they want to show, and we're collaborating with them at the moment, which is all fantastic. Best Newcomer is judged this year by the Managing Editor-in-Chief of Capital Liverpool, Capital North West and Capital Cymru. That's Capital Wales for anyone who isn't bilingual, okay? And the nominations this year are Corey Townley, Michelle Homan, Michael Rooney, Steph Taylor, Sylvie Devaney, Joe Lampkin, Kieran Wallace and Sue Bell, Richard Wolfenden and Craig Tapon. Ben, I'd like you to come up to the stage now to announce the winner.
Hi there. First of all, I'd like to say, absolutely delighted to get the email from Will to say, can you help judge this category? First of all, it's one of my favourite categories because you can hear the excitement in every entry. When the microphone opens, how wonderful it is to be on the radio. And for a jaded programmer like me, it was wonderful to hear that in every single entry. The quality was really, really high. But also it was great because I've been in the Northwest about 2 years now, and I've already met a lot of alumni from Chester, the Cat Radio, because I've had lots of people through on work experience. It really is a really high quality here, and what you do as a student radio station is really, really impressive. I haven't actually judged this category on my own though, because of that exact reason. There were some names in there that I recognise. So actually Gaynor Marshall is here with me. She's the managing editor for Capital Yorkshire, who helped me judge this category for me today. Because Gaynor actually, well, for 13 years, you were here 13 years ago, weren't you? At this very university. She said earlier that she was walking around and this is where her radio dreams began, and now she's running the biggest radio station, commercial radio station outside of London, which is fantastic. So it was great for Gaynor to help me with it. But in terms of the winner, it was their confidence as a newcomer that was most impressive. The understanding of the format that they wanted to try and create, but also what I really, really enjoyed is that there was so much audience interaction in there. Always asking for the audience interaction, whether it be online, getting guests into the studio, putting the audience right at the heart of the entry. So the winner is Rich Wolfenden.
Hello, good evening. You're listening to the Tea Time Kick-Off with me, Richard Wolfenden, and my guests Daniel Pryor and Rowan Newman, as we have the final word on the weekend's footballing action. Manchester City won again at the weekend.
Yeah, again, just don't know what to say. Thanks a lot, Ben, for making that decision, and everybody involved at the station. Will and Kat need a massive shout out as well for everything they do in the station. They pretty much squat in that. And again, thank you very much.
Congratulations again to Richard. Now, with only 4 categories left to go, these are the big ones.
Now, time for Best Male.
Best Male, as it says on the tin, celebrates all the men on the Cat Radio. This year it's been judged by the fantastic Mike Katz. Let's press straight on to the nominations. Are Corey Townley, Michael Rooney, Joe Lampkin, Richard Wolfenden, and Craig Tapon. Now, Mike unfortunately could not join us today, but he has asked one of his colleagues, Eddie Morris, who's a DJ and a Virgin Radio presenter, to announce the winner for us.
And the winner is Corey Townley. And this is what the judges said about you. A very relaxed, natural style of presentation from someone who's not afraid of being self-deprecating on air, an easy listen with great warm delivery. Sounds like we're cut from the same cloth, man.
Congratulations, Corey!
And nobody this existed until one of the people at work decided to turn around to me and say she was participating in this sort of health campaign. So I was like, okay, give me more information. She was telling me the whole sort of information.
Well, this is a shock, considering so many great candidates. I'd just like to say thanks to Will and Kat, Michelle, Lauren, Sean, and just everyone for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, thanks.
It's been a pleasure to work alongside Corey and the rest of the newcomers and the freshers and everybody else on the Cat this year.
Now, time for Best Female.
Now, 2018, I don't know whether you know or not, but it marks the year of the woman. everyone is pushing, and it was 100 years in February since women got the vote. And we've got more females than ever on the Cat Radio this year, and honestly, it's nice to hear a non-male voice. This year, it was judged by Hattie Pearson. She from Key 103. She gets involved with the awards every single year. Last year, she did Best Specialist Show. She likes to change around with her entries, but it's all fine. The nominations this year are myself, Sylvie, Michelle, and Steph. There's a video. That's worth. So yeah, Hattie couldn't join us tonight because she's got a real job unlike her students, and she's out there doing her weekly DJ gig, and so she sent us a video.
Hi, I'm Hattie Pearson. I'm a presenter on Q103, and I've judged Best Female for the Cat Radio Awards. So well done to all the entries. You all did a fabulous job. It was really hard to choose, but the winner that I'm going to go with is Sylvie Devaney. So well done to you. Came across. So keep up the good work. Well done to all the other entrants as well. It was very hard to decide, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Sorry I can't be there. Bye.
Have a nice day, guys. That reminds me when I went to Why Not Festival last year, which, if any of the listeners out there went to Why Not, you'll remember that it was an absolute shambles of a festival.
But I'm not even lying, I genuinely didn't expect this. I'm not a radio student, I study music journalism, and it was something I really wanted to do this year. Thought it'd be a bit of fun. I'm really nervous at the time. And genuinely, I just do it for a laugh. Will helps me out sometimes on my one word review segment, which was, I have to quote, Simon Morrison said I have to give him credit for that because he wants copyright. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks to Will for putting my demo together because I wouldn't be able to do it without him. Thanks to Michelle for giving me a chance as music journalism too. And yeah, thanks.
It's been so good to work alongside Sylvie this year. It's great to see one of my friends on the Cat, and it's brilliant to see how much her confidence has grown from the start of the year to now. And honestly, her show just has great music, which is why I love listening to it every week.
Yes, but Will, we're down to kind of the really, really important awards now.
The big ones.
Yeah, we've got 2 more, but actually we've got 3 more. Okay, I just tripped. So there is, we've done a lot of fundraising this year for the Cat. We've had cake sale. Matt's sister made a fantastic cake with the Cat Radio logo on it. We've done a movie night. We watched The Boat That Rocked because, it's radio and it's also a really great film. And we did this. Now in here is a number of refreshers, and we asked most of you here and a few more people to guess how many refreshers are in this jar. And I would like to announce that the winner is Amy Palmer. So Amy, if you could come down and claim these refreshers, that would be great.
We thought that the best time to announce that was now. So a big thanks to everybody who's helped put the Cat Awards together this year. People like Amy and everybody else who've given just a little bit that they could every time. And yeah. Okay, is it time, Cat? Is it time for...
And now it's time for the serious ones.
Yeah. Now time for the unsung hero.
So me and Kat can stand up here all we like and joke around, but it takes a whole team of people to put together the Cat Awards and the Cat Radio and everything that goes alongside it. Everything that you hear on air, everything that you see online takes a big team of people behind it. So the unsung hero category celebrates the person who works really hard but doesn't always get maybe the recognition that they always deserve. My favourite part about this category is that the winner is always nominated by the presenters. This isn't somebody that me and Kat just pick out of the blue. It's somebody who the team recognises as well. This person is somebody who is relatively new to the Cat Radio, but it's somebody who's always enthusiastic from day one and still today. This person goes above and beyond the call of duty, really, and is available at a moment's notice, and I think they can fix pretty much anything. The winner of the Unsung Hero this year is Andy Nixon.
Thank you very much. I should know I was using my big. Wow, thank you very much, the team. It's been great fun working in radio. I'm new to it, as Will said. When I started, I think I broke more things than I fixed. I tried to break the OB kit. I think I broke Myriad for a bit, but it was all a learning curve for me. So I'd like to thank Will and Kat for their dedication to the station. They truly are brilliant and deserve all the compliments that they get. The team as a whole as well, but particularly these two. Michelle, it's been great working in radio, it's been great, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
You've got some tickets to a brewery experience, so you can go and have a drink on us, mate. This is me.
Yeah.
So it's time to get a little bit fancy in here now.
Now time for the prestigious Golden Cat Award.
Dramatic.
Yes, so this category is always awarded by the management team. We kind of look at all of the amazing presenters and producers that we work with, both in and out of the radio production course. And this year it was really hard to come up with someone who kind of goes above and beyond and is kind of outstanding. This person can be a little bit quiet, but he's always there to help. And he is actually the voice in a very, very popular, or soon-to-be popular, podcast called Blackmore FM. So, Craig, you're the winner, mate.
So lucky. That's from Kylie's debut studio album. I am shocked by that. So, I love doing the remix. If you haven't heard the show, Tuesdays at noon, can't miss it. Right? I love the music I play, which is the music of my childhood, being an old foreigner in your country. it helps bring me back. So I am quite honored, actually, to get this award. So thank you very much to Will and Kat, who do indeed deserve every compliment that they get. Thanks to Michelle for always looking out and keeping an ear out for my show. And yeah, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Craig's a credit to the team, and I can't think of anybody who's more deserving of the Golden Cat this year.
Doesn't he have such a fantastic voice?
Maybe we should put him on for longer.
Oh, we should.
So we can listen to his voice
Great,
and his music.
music.
Here's all the music.
Anyway, that does kind of conclude the award ceremonies. There's just a few thank yous to have. And if I could draw your attention to the awards that Will is standing by. The celebrations don't stop for the Cat Radio team this year. No, you're kind of ugly. The Cat Radio...
Wow.
We'll just talk about the awards.
So this year... we are honoured to be nominated for 3 iHeart Student Radio Awards. The iHeart Student Radio Awards, they're put on by the Student Radio Association, which kind of looks after student radio up and down the country. And they recognise we've been nominated for 3 awards. We've been nominated for the Most Improved Station and the Most Improved Team.
We're the only management team to have ever been nominated, so even though there's only 6 of us, I think we're perfect in every way.
This has just been about us. But yeah, and those 2 awards really celebrate the hard work of the team and everything that everybody does online, on air, and everything like that. But Kat has also been nominated for an outstanding contribution to the team.
Will, everyone knows you're more outstanding than I am, don't worry. But yes, we are very excited about that. We'll know on the 4th of April whether any of the 3 entries are going to go any further.
And of course, you can find us on Twitter at Cat Radio UK to find out what happens with that. We're very excited to find out. There are, of course, other people we would like to thank as well. Fiona White has been unbelievably patient with me in the past few weeks when I go with my little stresses. I'd like to thank our photographer, Mr. Ash Green, who'll be around all night, has never picked with us. Ryan's been taking care of the sound. We've got the wonderful Win, who's going to play us in and out. Maxine Warren made us look very fancy in these matching waistcoats. And of course to all of our judges and speakers who have been here tonight.
Bear with me, boy, I'll just go down a little later.
Oh.
I'm back. We also have another huge thank you to say. This is from all of us of the management team. Michelle, we're your first real full class. You've had us since we were babies of 18 in first year. And you've had a baby in between. You've helped all of us countless of times in so many ways. And so we've got you a little bit of something. Because we're students and we can't really plan things very well.
You couldn't decide if you were going to say anything or not, so we decided that you are doing.
There is something else on the way, Michelle.
Very well done, Will Dell Cat. Students do organise. Thank you, Carol. Students do organise these events. I just say, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you contacted these? Have you got the balloons? And that's very well done to all of you. They are a small team, but they do very well. Thank you to the industry judges, because we're very grateful for all your support over the past year. Thank you to my visiting lecturers. Tom's here, Paul's here, who I probably couldn't survive without. And Andy, my lunch buddy, 12 o'clock every afternoon we go in. We find out what's going on. But the students, you have been amazing this year. We've got a great intake of first years. The master's students have been fantastic as well and got really stuck in this year as well. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for making my job, brilliant and easy and fun. And I hope that that's come across tonight for everybody. Okay.
You couldn't do it without Michelle. And of course, all the other hard-working staff, all of our visiting lecturers that we are very lucky to be taught by as well.
Yes, now the party doesn't stop now. We'd like you all to head back on over to Bar 2010, have a few drinks, mingle a little bit. Win, you're going to play us out again, and we've got some wonderfully embarrassing pictures for you to enjoy.
Thank you all so much for coming, and we can't wait to see you next time.
Professionalism at its finest. Oh, thanks, I can read now. You don't have to stay and listen to me, you can go if you want to. I hear over there, I'll be going soon as well.
I was perched outside in the pouring rain, trying to make myself a sail, and now flew to you, my darling, with the evening on my tail. Holding the post on its means of travel, it gets me down less. I'm this man hours, babe, I'm a helpless one at best. But darling, I'll bathe your skin, I'll even wash your clothes. Just give me some candy before I go. Explaining, but to her it lies on all the close. Just give me some kind before I go.
No more, please.
With it earlier.